The street lights flickered on as we made our way to Samuel's car, the encroaching darkness creating an air of foreboding. The map and documents securely tucked under my arm, I couldn't shake the feeling of eyes on my back. I scanned the road for any signs of a tail, but the bustling city seemed indifferent to our plight. As we buckled in and Samuel started the engine, my hand instinctively reached for my phone. "I'm going to text Rory's old friend Keith," I said, my voice barely audible over the hum of the car. Samuel glanced at me sharply. "Is that a good idea?" I sighed. Keith was closer to Rory than anyone. If anyone knows more about this warehouse, it's him. Samuel nodded, his gaze shifting back to the road. "Just be careful what you say. We don't know who we can trust." My fingers hovered over the screen, hesitating for a moment before typing. "Lydia." "Keith, it's Lydia. I need to talk to you about Rory. Urgent. Call me back ASAP." I hit send and stared at the screen, willing a response to come immediately. Seconds ticked by, feeling like hours. Finally, the phone buzzed, and a message appeared. "Keith, where are you? What's happened?" I quickly replied, giving no specifics but emphasizing the need for a face-to-face meeting. The response was swift. "Meet me at the Pelican Diner in 20. Don't be late and be discreet." I let out a breath I hadn't realized I was holding. "We need to make a stop first," I told Samuel. "The Pelican Diner. Keith will meet us there in 20 minutes. Samuel pressed his lips into a thin line, but didn't argue. The car glided through the city streets, the tension palpable as we neared our destination. The night felt heavier, every turn of the wheel bringing us closer to answers, or perhaps more questions. As we pulled up to the diner, the neon sign buzzed like a warning. I steeled myself, ready to dive deeper into the enigma that had claimed my brother and threatened to pull us all under. Stepping out of the car, the palpable tension clung to us like the humidity in the air. The familiar comfort of the Pelican Diner, with its checkered floors and faded leather booths, seemed like a fragile veneer over the uncertainties we faced. We slid into a booth near the back, trying to remain inconspicuous. My eyes darted to the entrance, willing Keith to appear. Moments later, the door swung open and there he was. Keith's face was etched with lines of worry and hard years, his eyes scanning the diner before locking onto ours. He approached cautiously, sliding into the booth opposite us without a word. "What's going on, Lydia?" he asked, his voice a low murmur as he glanced over his shoulder, scanning for any potential eavesdroppers. "We found some documents, maps, really, and references to a warehouse. We're certain it has something to do with Rory's disappearance," I said, sliding the papers across the table to him. Keith's expression darkened as he looked over the documents. "This is worse than I thought," he muttered. He looked up, meeting our eyes. "Rory stumbled onto something big. The warehouse is not just a place, it's a front for something far more dangerous." A cold shiver ran down my spine. "What do you mean?" Keith leaned in, his voice barely above a whisper. "There's a network, a shadow organization that's been operating under the radar. They used the warehouse to move illicit things, and Rory must have found out more than he should have." We sat in stunned silence, the weight of Keith's words sinking in. Samuel broke the silence. "So, what's our next move?" Keith's eyes flicked between us, resolute. "First, we get to that warehouse and find out exactly what Rory discovered. But be prepared, we're walking into a hornet's nest. There's no turning back now." Determination, replacing the fear in the pit of my stomach. I nodded. "Then let's do it, for Rory." With a shared look of grim resolve, we stood and headed back to the car, the night feeling darker yet charged with purpose. Rory's path had become ours, and there was no backing down.